Hi, I'm Ben, and this is my brother Steven.
And this is our sister Deborah.
Hi.
We worked together to make the video Robot Preschool at the Tech Annex at the Blue Island Public Library. We had been working with the Tech Annex's NXT during the school year.
I had taken a class on making an animated video with Scratch.
Mr. Thompson asked us to think of a big project to work on during the summer, using the different things we had learned.
I wanted to do something with Scratch.
I wanted to do something with the NXT.
Some suggested we try stop-motion animation.
Eventually, we came up with the idea of doing a video with all three.
We came up with the preschool idea later in the summer. I began working on the Scratch program.
That's where Deborah came in.
I told her about the story and that I needed a knight that could walk in a castle.
I took an image from Scratch's files and transformed it into a knight. I used the Wacom tablet to add chainmail, which was really just a lot of squiggles. Then I made a helmet with a huge plume feather. We had to use several costumes to make it look like the knight was walking. I also designed the castle for the program.
Now that I had the items for the Scratch program, I worked on that. We came to the library for several hours a few times a week. Also, since Scratch is free, I had the program at home and worked on it there.
While Steven was working on Scratch, I did the NXT work. I have a Lego NXT, and so does the library. I thought it would be cool to have one be a teacher and one a student. They could connect wirelessly using Bluetooth. First, I thought of what the teacher would teach the student. Then I programmed the teacher. Things seemed to be going well. I set up the first part of the program on the student. The teacher would go forward and backward, send a message to the student, and the student would repeat the process. It worked great. Then everything fell apart. Not really apart, but I couldn't get any farther.
Ben was really bummed. The NXTs wouldn't communicate.
I couldn't get the student to send a message to the teacher, or maybe the teacher couldn't receive the messages.
Ben finally asked Mom for help.
Mom and I looked up lots of stuff online. It said getting Bluetooth to work is hard. I tried a few more days.
We were not sure if we were going to get everything done.
Mom had us make a storyboard for the entire project. We decided on the Robot Preschool theme. I drew the big storyboard.
Mom then made a list of the things we still had to do, who had to do them, and in what order they had to be done. I had to work on the stop-motion animation, and Ben had to deal with the NXT.
Then Mom came up with a new idea. We decided to time the different parts of the class. Then I programmed the teacher and student to do the different parts with pauses in between each part. This made it look like they were communicating when they were actually just waiting.
The final part of the video was a stop-motion animation. I decided that it would be a Lego movie, so I made the Lego pieces at home.
Actually, Daniel and I helped him. Then Steven had to do a storyboard. He used the storyboard to lay out the scenes of the movie.
My dad helped me take the pictures for the Lego movie. We put the camera on a tripod and set the Legos on the dining room table. Then I moved the Legos a little bit between each picture. It took a long time to take all the pictures, even though the movie is really short.
Then Steven had to make the pictures into a movie, add the bullets, and add the sounds.
Mr. Nelson helped me import the pictures into Adobe Premiere Elements. I had to rename all the pictures twice because I saved them to the wrong place the first time.
Then Mr. Nelson allowed us to use Adobe Premiere Pro.
Since this was the first time I'd used the program, Mr. Nelson let me do the work, but he told me what to do to turn it into a movie. We used Audacity to import sounds from the internet.
Mr. Thompson and Mr. Nelson set up several video cameras to record the NXTs. I set up the two NXTs on a table, and they recorded them running the programs. They also recorded them sitting in front of the computer.
The last thing I didn't have was actual voices for the Scratch program. We recorded Deborah and some other kids for the voices.
Then Mr. Nelson put all the parts together and added the beginning and ending from the library stuff.
It was a lot of hard work, but it was fun.
Especially to see the video on YouTube. One thing we forgot to mention was how we did the robot voices.
The robot voices were pretty much using Fruity Loops, which I had already used on a different program. Then I showed Ben how to use the program, and he did the rest.
How you use it is you just type in the words that you want to say and pick how you want the person to say it, or whoever you want to say it. Then I made what they had to say. I imported it a few times and exported it out, and I got it into Adobe Premiere Pro, and we spliced it into the right places.
And that's how we did the robot voices.
After Mr. Thompson asked the boys to start working on this big project, they came up with some of their ideas, but they didn't necessarily have a really good idea how to get all the things accomplished. So they came into the library, they worked on different things, and that went okay until they realized they only had a few more weeks, and that's when we came up with the really big storyboard and the list of who had to do what. And then each night when we would go home, we would check off who had finished what, if they had accomplished it, and what order they had to do things, and that was really what was able to keep things on track for that last few days. And then Mr. Thompson and Mr. Nelson were really helpful in allowing us to get all of the last things done since we were leaving on vacation the next day. So those are the things that we did. The other thing is that we really love the fact that the kids are able to do programs here that we don't have at home. We actually ended up buying an NXT used after the boys had started using one here. And it was Mr. Thompson that told us we could download Scratch to our house, so we now use that there. But the first time Deborah had ever used a Wacom tablet was here, and she has done a lot more with using the computer for her art. And the boys are able to work with a lot of programs that they wouldn't have otherwise, especially the Adobe Pro stuff, because that's way more expensive than the Elements, which is what we could afford.
This has been a Tech Annex production.